everyone. Welcome to the Omega Files. I'm your host, Dr. Freedom. Tonight we've gathered to sit down and have a little talk about the latest offering from Series 10, Lie of the Land. A very interesting episode that deals with the concept, basically put out by George Orwell. 1984, fake news, propaganda, all that happy stuff, put right out there in a nice format. Okay, since we got a lot of people here, when I go to you, just go ahead and go right into your opening thoughts. You'll say hi if you want. Let's start up at the top this week with Philip. Go on ahead.
Hello, good evening. Lie of the Land. I kind of like the story because it was very turn left type situation with a darker edge to it. Bill was very good as the kind of like the resistance fighter against the false truth. I did like her bit where she was raging at the doctor about what he's doing, and I also like the bit where he was giving her a summary of the human race and how kind of like weak they were in this situation. I wasn't quite sure why the regeneration thing was happening. So if anybody can clarify that with me when you speak, then that's fine. You can explain that to me. The mugs themselves, they were very much like the Silence in this episode. All it was long finger hands and that lightning strike that they had come out of the hand, it reminded me of the Silence. So that was a bit kind of weird. Missy was the crowning glory for me in this one. I thought she played a different kind of Missy that we've never seen before. She was very playful and at the same time very kind of cold and wicked. But at the end of her, when you see her crying at the end, it's like, wow. That's the first time you've ever seen emotion from an evil Time Lord, like the Master or Mrs. you would call her. So overall, this story was very good. It's very dark and it's very tense in some places. And I enjoyed it. It's really good.
Okay, let's move on to William.
Hey, how you doing, everybody? I'm gonna have to agree with Philip. This is the third part of the trilogy, and it was pretty good. I was really caught up with the way the doctor was doing the setup for Bill as the test, but I was like, I was like very confused about it. And then when she shot at him and he started regenerating, and he didn't, like, what happened? I said, somebody got to explain that to me there. I'm like, that one got me confused a little bit. Also, somebody needs to explain to me what happened to Nardo, but I don't remember hearing. I only seen this episode one time, so I don't know how he was able to survive the TARDIS. So somebody please explain that to me. Even though Macy was only here for a little while, she really stood out because she explained how she knew about the monks and how the situation had to be solved with dealing with them, even though her solution was a very dark one, because the last time she dealt with them, she threw the girl in the volcano. So now, the doctor was not going to go for that. And, of course, Philip mentioning at the end of her shedding a tear was very a shock, because that's something we never expected from either the Master or Missy, considering that character, how this character been going on for so many years. So that was a pretty good. You know what I'm going to do when I got the time? I'm going to watch all three of them all together as one long story if I can understand it completely. But one thing I know, this does stand out. It's a good story. So I recommend it for a lot of people to watch it. It's pretty good.
Okay, let's move on to Kellen.
If I can only unmute myself. There we go. Yep, quite a good story. The very start of it with the girl being dragged off into the truth van. Very reminiscent of a story called They Came From Somewhere Else. It ends exactly the way this one starts. I must say again, as everyone says, Michelle Gomez playing a blinder. Very, very entertaining. Very enjoyable. I thought it was started a bit slowly. But yeah, thank you.
Okay, let's move on to Doctor Who Commentator.
Well, I thought last week was an absolutely brilliant episode. I turned to this week's episode. I find last week was just merely the setup for a great episode. I will somewhat disagree with Philip on the concept of, it's a very turn left feel. Yeah, that's what I thought when I was seeing the promo, but turn left was more the concept of an alternate timeline. This was just the concept of changing people's perception of history entirely, which I don't think Doctor Who has ever really gone through before. And like I thought, it had me on the edge of my seat. But the real highlights for the episode, if anything, just the one little bit of it, was Pearl Mackey's performance when the doctor, when it looked like the doctor had betrayed her. Oh, give her a BAFTA. She was absolutely brilliant in that scene. And yeah, like I said, this was just a great episode. I can't say anything more about it.
Okay, let's move on to Bo.
Yep. I like the bit at the beginning where Bill was about to attack Nada with the chair and both of them screamed. I thought that was really funny. I like the bit where the doctor faked his regeneration to test Bill. I like the bit how Bill was the one to defeat monks because she was one that she was the one she was the cause of the monks coming to Earth because she defeated the monks by using an image of her mother. So that was really great. Yeah, it was a great episode.
Let's move on to Susan and Alex.
Hi, this is Susan and Alex in Massachusetts, and I enjoyed this episode so much. I can't believe that the whole world was saved by Bill's mom. Bill's mom is the bomb. So that was cool. And I loved the bits where Peter Capaldi acted his socks off. He was ecstatically happy, and he looked totally malevolent. I mean, the 12th Doctor is an amazing doctor, and I'm thrilled by this. Stephen Moffat is going out with a fanfare. It's just amazing what's coming out every week. It's actually really thrilling. So, Alex, how about you?
I did like the episode. I was only about 3% surprised, really, though. So I liked it, but in some ways I didn't like it because it didn't really shock me. There was very few moments that I was actually surprised. But I mean, I still liked it. Great acting. It might have helped if the monks were a little better explained. It seemed like the resolution again was a little tidied up, but that's not unusual. But I'll talk more about that later. Okay.
All right, let's go on to Graham.
The mute button. As has been alluded to, you've got an Orwellian feel to this episode. I really enjoyed this. Michelle Gomez chewed the bloody scenery from here to Kingdom Come whenever she was on screen. And much like she quoted, I am that baldy man, it looks like an egg. So, good to see you. Peter Capaldi, as great as ever. Pearl Mackie. I love the fact that her and Matt Lucas get some more screen time at the beginning of this story to further solidify their partnership. That was quite good. The monks, decent. I've had one wee quibble. It was basically right at the end. Okay, the truth is seen. The crowd starts shouting, and then they take off in their pyramid. Kind of lame, but that was my only wee minor gripe. This was a phenomenal episode.
Yeah, I'm going to go a little bit into that when we go into Free For All because, from what we saw the filming pictures, there was a lot more going on there. Apparently it was cut for time. Okay, AJ, you're up next.
Yeah, hi there. I thought this was a brilliant episode, as people have said before, very Orwellian. I liked how Capaldi was manipulative of Bill and everyone else around him, pretending he was evil for 6 months, which is very McCoy-ish. I thought very good. I like the part where he got shot and you didn't see any bullet holes or any blood, which was, I thought, weird until they explained it later on. And the fake regeneration thing, that was pure genius. That was. He sits there and he just starts clapping like, "Yeah, I've got you. I've worked you out. Yeah, you're fine." coming to the club. Here's the Dakota ring. There you go. So yeah, it was just an all-round brilliant episode. I think the monks were slightly underused, but having those malevolent images of them appearing in crowds and just surfing people and all that, which was a good idea. Pearl Mackie, brilliant. I liked in the last week preview trailer how they said it looked like Michelle Gomez and Bill were going to be working together for this episode. It was a good little lie there. It felt like that they were going to be a team, but sadly didn't happen. So can't wait for next week to see what happens, further on beyond this.
All right, Sam.
Well, I like the episode. I wasn't very happy about the ending. It's a bit rushed. Sorry for my finger. It was a bit rushed as usual. But yeah, Bill nailed it again, or Bill Mackey. Even Matt Lucas did a great job. Missy, of course, I love her very much. So she can't really do anything wrong. She's a bit cold, but the monks, I don't know. It's a bit too far. I think. Oh, sorry. I don't know. I will watch it again. So far a good story. Nothing more, nothing less.
All righty. Let's go on to Beefhead.
Right. Yes, hello. I'm quite pleased with this, actually. I liked how it started. It was amazingly effective. It looked more like you were watching an Attenborough documentary, a nature documentary, retelling the history and the evolution of the human species with a marvelous voiceover by Peter Capaldi. And then you cut to the family scene, which is completely disturbed by rampaging troops coming through the door to rip someone from their home. It was a very effective way of setting up how there has been this change within 6 months. And I knew that this was going to split people's opinions. Going and looking at Twitter straight after this, as Graham was mentioning the other day, it's just brought out the usual people bashing Stephen Moffat, who didn't actually write this episode, and saying it's overcomplicated unnecessarily. It's not. I think it was done in a good way. As much as you didn't have the monks, I didn't think you needed them as much this episode, because you've had them for the setup and the execution. They're already there, and it's all to do with perception about how you perceive them and how effective they are. What's good about them just fleeing is that you know no more about them than you do in the first place. You still don't know their motives. You still don't necessarily know why they do it, and they've gone on and you know as little about them. So they're still a potential threat for the future. I must agree with the sentiments of Doctor Who commentator that she does deserve a BAFTA. The scene where it's the fake out regeneration, and she's crying and the emotion is absolutely brilliant. I think that's great. She was amazingly effective in that. Michelle Gomez was brilliant. When she does the wandering accent that goes between sort of a cut English, then just throwing in a really rough Scottish, how she overemphasizes a word like volcano and everything like that. She overdoes it. She camps it up and hams it up. By throwing in French and Spanish. I love the way that when you actually see her, she's actually playing her own theme on the piano as well, which I thought was a nice little stylish touch. This is probably going to be the Doctor Light episode of the series. The first 15 minutes, you don't see the Doctor in it, and not wanting to make a short gag, but it seems Erica got short shrift this episode as well. I did like the hot and cold game where she's just toying with the Doctor. As much as she's crying at the end, you still don't trust her. You still think, is she just doing it for effect? Is it still a fake out? Matt Lucas, brilliant. Doing the scream when he bursts in on Bill, and it being exactly the same scream as Bill. You have Nardole Fu later on in the episode where he delivers the sort of knockout pinch. I think it was really good. It hit all the points that worked so well. The one thing I was surprised about it is that there was so much that I think we made, and a lot of people have seen, with what looks like the strange hobo John Sim that we reckon going through there, that never made it to the episode in the end. Whether that's going to be something we get in a flashback later, but it was a completely solid episode all the way through. I liked the resolution. You can make a lot of your mum jokes. Your mama be so fat, she's literally everywhere all at once. Your mama gets around a bit, she's in everyone's minds before they go to sleep. But I liked it. It was a good way to finish it. I don't think it was rushed, because if you're going to have overthrowing a regime, you can't do it in that sort of length episode. It was done effectively. The setup was done right. Did it seem like a bit of a cruel joke? Yes, but I liked it. It did the job that it was supposed to do. AJ is right. It was, a McCoy aspect, a lot of the manipulation to be in the right place at the right time. Fantastic, start to finish. I liked it. It's a solid end to the three-parter. Probably now this is my favourite of the three. I wonder how the monks produce the little trees when they're being shot at, because that looked like a weird sort of choral effect. But there you go. There's a big pyramid shape in the middle of London now. Oh dear.
Okay, Connor Farley.
I have to admit, on first viewing, I found this a bit flat, to be honest. I felt that the story was written into a corner, whereby the only idea of ending it all was the love conquers all. Second viewing, though, I began to sort of realise that, maybe that was the best option on to end it. It wasn't an explosive conclusion as could have been had the budget allowed it, but second viewing, it definitely, I think it was an episode that required a second viewing. For a lot of the time, it took an idea that it needs very fine sort of strokes, and it was almost like it was done with broad strokes in 45 minutes. That might not have been beneficial. This story of Lie in the Land could have just have been a two-parter on its own. I think possibly have made it a four-parter. I think it would have benefited from that. But the story on its own, I liked the Orwellian aspect of it. As Beef said, I liked how it started off as a David Attenborough-esque sort of documentary, and then it descended into a 1984 chaos, sort of women being dragged out of the house sort of dilemma. And then you had the bit with the doctor on the ship, which I actually thought that they were going to allude to the Minister of War, but they didn't end up doing that. But yeah, Pearl Mackie was by far the best part of that scene. The regeneration served no purpose. It was a light show. Even the doctor asked Nardole if it was a step too far, which I think it was in a way. I don't think it was necessarily needed, especially because to Bill that would have meant nothing, because a few episodes earlier the doctor sort of prevented himself from telling her about regeneration. Michelle Gomez, as the sentiments of everyone before me, was by far the best part of the episode. She's acting this series with a more contained, calmer, calculating sort of role, I think. And it's nice to see her get involved in a way by she is the antithesis of the plan going forward in the episode. She is the one that kickstarts the resolution to the whole story in a way. And the hot and cold game was just brilliant. That was typical Missy playing with the doctor, getting him to the right point, to the right answer, and then letting him do all the work. That's basically what her character has been doing from Series 8, and she continued it here. Pearl Mackie, as I said, was really great. Peter Capaldi was oddly very unhinged in this one. When he was laughing on the front of the boat, just after the regeneration scene, that was strange, but it was nice to see. And Nardole, I would not be against him staying on until Series 11, because he's got me completely hooked now.
Yeah, he's really taken the cake, so to speak. He's been very, his character has really grown over this season. Okay, let's go to Vil.
Hello. Well, once again, I really liked the episode. It was very well done. A lot of what I'd say is really kind of repeating what other people would say. So let me just throw this thought in there. When is one of those monks going to possess the keeper of Traken?
Okay, an allusion back to the Crispy Master, yeah. Played by Jeffrey Beavers. Okay, is that it, Vil?
Yeah, for now.
All right, just double check it. All right. Short and sweet. Okay, let's go to Texas Tim.
I thought it was an excellent episode, but everybody's already kind of said everything that you can say about it, except that I thought it was very fast-paced. I thought it worked perfectly in the 45-minute format. As has already been said, the 4 regulars were brilliant in this, particularly Pearl Mackie, who is just like kind of wow. I mean, this is like her first television, isn't it? So, I mean, good on her. She does an amazing job with what she's given. She's given a lot to do in this episode. And the doctor is so cruel to her. I thought that was really kind of like, wow. I mean, whoever mentioned 7, yeah, pretty much. But this episode was very narration heavy, wasn't it? Because it started out with a bit from the doctor, and then of course Bill had her dialogue going throughout. And that was pretty interesting. That was kind of the only way to do it for such a quick-paced episode and to resolve the whole story. I thought that was good. Particularly good was also, as already been mentioned, Nardole. Perfect. Not too much, not too little. He just pops in and does the comedy moments and then recedes into the background. So that's really great. I mean, I thought this was a really fun episode. I know Connor posted some bit about how reviewers were already hating it earlier, and I don't know what they're thinking, because I thought this was very good. That's just me. And happy birthday.
Oh, thank you. All right, let's go for open mic. Yeah, some very interesting points brought up in this episode. It's obvious now that the doctor and Pearl are grown very, very fond of each other. They're getting very attached to one another, which means sooner or later she's gonna have to be brutally unkilled in some way, by the Steve Moffat. But we've learned to deal with it before. Like I said, very interesting point. Especially, I love the point where she was gonna beat up Nardole.
Oh yeah, I'm going to beat this. Yeah.
Happy aging day.
Oh, there you go.
Congratulations, you're a year older. All right, so yeah, like I said, George Baker put these up today. Let's go ahead and run into those real quick. And if you scroll through these a bit, these are some more of the truth posters.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But also there also comes to a point where when the people start realizing what's going wrong,
mm-hmm.
That they've been duped, that they start attacking the monks.
Woo.
And beating the crap out of them and stuff like that. That, unfortunately, I think was just edited because of the old time for the episode. Because this was all shot down for the episode down in Wales. And, sadly, like I said, hopefully we'll get deleted scenes, but they haven't really been generous with those as of late. Here's some more stuff with the monks. Yes, they do wear hats. Okay. More memory police van. I think we showed that one last week. And then went
they
back.
Were very limited as well. They were only at the beginning and the end, but there you go. I suppose that's what they needed.
Yeah, so. Lots of fans of Pearl showing up. See? Well.
Oh, that's what the Afro was about.
So that first scene was very quick. I mean, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was supposed to be a scene, where you actually see it starting to happen. People are turning on the monks, bringing them down, knocking to the ground and stuff like that. But apparently, I don't know if it was because of, what went on with, the whole Manchester thing, maybe. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
They decided to leave all that out. Or it could have just been for time. Maybe there was no motivation behind it.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Now, see, Missy crying at the end of the episode is the first thing I wanted to bring up, even though it's at the end. How many here want to flash back to a little era in Doctor Who, back during the John Pertwee era, when they had the Master locked up on that island? Remember, he was reforming then.
Yeah, that was Stanmore Prison. Yeah.
Yep. And, pretending, that he was going to get past his evil ways and he was going to drop it all and blah, 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 this.
Yeah.
And it turns out He was.
The difference this time, though, is she wasn't sitting watching the clangers.
Okay,
You
Sammy.
just
Go ahead.
went over what I was going to say.
Yeah, go ahead, Sammy.
Remember, Missy is still the Scorpion, so you don't fully trust her. I think so.
Let me put my.
Okay, Connor.
I think that in that case, in the Delgado thing, you have to trust Missy less because she's more unhinged, and I think there's an aspect of she is more likely to do something more rash than someone like Delgado is in that aspect. So I don't know why the Doctor trusts her, but he does. But I think she's going to betray him.
Yeah. Okay, Philip.
Did anybody found it interesting that when she was in the vault, she was saying, "You think I can't open those doors? I can make a gun out of leaves." So I'm wondering if she couldn't get herself out of those doors. Why is she hanging out for? What she want? She's got a plan ahead. She's thinking ahead. So she's being a bit conniving in there.
Probably waiting for Johnson.
She did give it out to the Doctor to reform.
Yeah, I think she's up to something. All right, Texas Tim.
I just don't know why he trusts her at all because, like you pointed out, this has already happened before with the previous Doctor and the previous Master, and yet he was bringing her dinner in a prior episode, and it's like, okay, do you think maybe he just has kind of a thing because she's like, he mentioned that she was the second last of the Time Lords or something, or the other last of the Time Lords or whatever. It's like, do you think he just kind of just wants to hang around with some Time Lord company occasionally?
I think part of it is the fact that, what we found out along the way is that they grew up together. They went to the academy together or something along that line. They were friends when they were very young, and that's been hinted at multiple times. And I think what it is the Doctor in his heart of hearts just somehow believes someday that the Master is going to reform. And, he doesn't want to give up on that. Okay, Doctor Commentator.
Yeah, just wanted to say to Connor, I mean, you were saying, I don't think the regeneration was necessary. Oh, no, it absolutely was necessary. They needed something for the trailer.
It was fan bait.
Yeah. AJ.
Yeah, I was just going to say that whole thing with Missy and the Doctor and whatnot. Remember when Last of the Time Lords, Lieutenant and Sim, where the Master refused to regenerate and he was literally bawling, regenerate, because he doesn't want to be alone. He has no one else around him. Like everyone else, human-wise, are just shadows and dust floating around him, whereas he is just this solitary statue just standing still in time while everything just moves around him. He doesn't want to be alone. That's all it is.
All right, Beefhead.
I think to a certain degree, though, it looks like a talking therapy. He's going to sit there and just wait for her to offer stuff up. But you see at the end of it, he sat there, what looks like reading a magazine. He has this very comfy chair. But I think probably when I look at it, he's as much a prisoner as she is. So she's trapped in whatever the holding pen is, but he has to be a prisoner sitting there watching her, listening her, although ultimately he believes that there is something redeemable, something that she can change. She just likes the fact is that she can just play with him and torture it because he can't go anywhere either.
So do you think that is the reason why she told him that he must kill Bill?
It could be. Maybe he was, she was throwing that out to see if he would take the option or not. But because at the end we found out, that didn't really do any. It didn't leave her as a vegetable after all.
No. What she meant was that was the easiest solution to the problem because Bill was the one that made the agreement. And if you cut the head off the problem, then there's no problem anymore. And of course, that's her solution because she's the Master. The Doctor would never do that. So he had to find an alternative way of doing it. And even then, he didn't. Bill did. So there you go.
There's no way Missy could have necessarily known every way to get out of that situation.
No, but he asked her for her advice because she had met them before. And Missy knew that since one person had done that, if you cut off the head of the problem, then you no longer have the problem. And that's what her point was.
I know. And that's what I meant. I mean, I agree. That's exactly what Missy would do. And I'm assuming that she wouldn't know any other way.
She didn't know that it was Bill at that time. It was Bill that said it was me. And told Missy that.
Awkward.
Awkward.
Super.
I pushed her into a volcano.
Can I just say though, Whether you trust her or no, huge kudos to Michelle Gomez. She's given her iteration of the Master a hell of a lot more layers this season.
Yes. Because you know what? She's only on screen about maybe 10 minutes out of, 45. And she excelled. I mean, she was just, in every scene that she was in, you were paying attention to her because she was that good. Like Beef had said about her changing of the accent every couple of lines, just to show you how cool she can be. That was brilliant.
There was even American in there as well.
Okay, Callan.
I like why Missy was a pony.
You know what? That is a brilliant question. What the hell is the mistress going to do with a 3D printer and a pony?
She's just acting like a kid.
I don't even want to picture it. Also, Pearl Mackie in this episode, spectacular acting.
Phenomenal.
The character of Bill's just really, really coming along so well, and she's really, really doing an ace job on it.
She's great.
Yeah. I think I said it for the first episode she was in. I loved her work, and I still love her work.
Okay, William.
Yeah, Pearl Mackie really stood out, and it makes me get a little bit, since there's already 2/3 of the season already done. It makes it gonna be a very sad to see the actress and character leave the show, because I would like to know, because she's a great character. I would like to see her come back, man, one way or another. Because if she leaves the show, then of course I would love to see her come back in Big Finish, because this character is she stood out in this what we call New Who. She's one of the top 2 companions that I've seen so far, and that really stands out.
Okay, Vil, you had something to say?
Yeah, what the whole thing with Missy first, I looked at it at 2 possibilities. The first and most obvious is she's screwing with the doctor and she's got an ulterior motive. I still say that's the most likely thing. However, I'm also considering that she has stated that she's not going to play Missy after Peter Capaldi leaves. And I go back into the classic series when they had originally planned to have the Master sacrifice himself to save the Doctor. Now, I'm not saying that this is going to be the end of the Master, but this may be the turning point for the character, or if we do have an evil Master in the future, it'll still end with a good Missy. That's another possibility. I'm not calling that a prediction. I'm just saying that if it happens, I won't be surprised. I do still lean toward ulterior motive. And I kind of half expect that John Sims' Master is going to end up killing her. Or that she kills him, or they kill each other. I see that coming. Her acting, absolutely top notch today. It's just great.
Okay, Philip.
I know this has been clarified before, but I was just wondering, the internal dimensions of the vault, is that built? Is it because it's been built under the university, and that's why we're seeing the outside windows thing?
I think the vault is dimensionally transcendental. I think that's what's going on. It's just an alternate thing in there, and that's just basically there for scenery.
Okay.
Okay, William.
The Missy thing. This is such a great character. The way she's being portrayed right now. I don't mind seeing her come back for like 6 or 8 episodes next year and her little mini-series run. Because the shenanigans she would get into, and it's going to stand out. It's going to be funny, adventurous, and cool. So I would like to see that happen.
All right, Sammy? You got to unmute yourself.
I want her to come back, but it will never happen. It will never happen again. I think after this series, so I'm gonna miss her. So
yeah, she has been saying it's the end of an era as far as she's concerned, because all her boys are leaving, and you never know. She may come back and do it with Big Finish. If motivated, if Peter's involved and all that, you never know what lies in the future. Okay, Dr. Commentate.
All right.
Just wanted to say, I don't know, maybe I wasn't paying attention with this. People were talking about Missy or Pearl, but do we have any confirmation that Bill is even going to be gone at the end of this series?
The way they're talking, she's probably not going to be in the Christmas episode.
Okay.
It's been kind of strongly hinted at, especially by tweets she put out during the filming. But like I said, I would love for her to come back. She's been incredible. I really hope they give her a new lease. I really hope they say, look, you were so spectacular in this series. We want you back for Series 11, because she definitely deserves the shot. Okay, Texas Tim.
Well, I think William pointed it out, but it's true though that it seems like this series is really firing on all cylinders at this point. You got an excellent TARDIS team. You got a good story moving right along. It's just really a pity that it's all going to end within the next 5 episodes. That's 4 plus Christmas. I mean, that you're not going to have any of this next time after this year. So I mean, that's a pity. It's a pity. It's just the BBC that can't, that doesn't know when they have something good going on.
I'd say to that though, what you're doing is you're kind of afraid of the unknown at this point. You're not really sure about.
I'm not afraid of anything. I'm from Texas.
No, what I'm saying is you're sad that this is going to go away. Yeah,
Of course
I'd be
I am,
sad too.
because it shouldn't be that way. To be honest, this series, I'm not sure about how it's doing in the numbers. I'm guessing it's doing pretty much the same as last year, but most fans of the show have said this series is really good. I mean, even Lady G was mentioning earlier in the comments on the Skype that she's loved every episode so far, or liked it at least. So I mean, she's hard to please sometimes. So
I agree, but you're not taking the idea that maybe the next one could possibly be even better. That's the next crew that comes in.
It could be. I just don't see why the BBC decides to nip it all in the bud when there could just be a clear case of carry over to the next showrunner
to keep
it fresh. Whoever he wants. If you wanted to keep the Doctor and keep the companion, why not?
All right, Beef had his hand up here for a minute. Go ahead, Beef.
Slightly changing the subject as well. I just wanted to say I thought the resolution, with it being sort of the mum, the idea of the mother changing it and being the reason that there was a good feeling and a good thought to pump out and everything like that. I thought actually it was quite clever, because it's not a case of it's actually Bill's mum and everything like that. But what it was the choice that Bill made to restore the Doctor's eyesight was without ulterior motive. It was a pure decision, and what it was that to actually save the situation was the Doctor not doing anything with an ulterior motive, just doing something for Bill, going back and taking those photos and everything like that, ultimately gave her the tools to save and dispel the monks. So the same thing, it was another altruistic act that actually saved the day. So I thought that was a really nice sort of closing of the circle, because that sort of decision started it, but then that same sort of decision closed it at the end.
Well, I agree with you, but a lot of people could just be saying Bill who.
Okay, Callan?
Yeah, I'm just saying that it's difficult to get two good TARDIS teams back to back. It doesn't often happen there. I think it's ever happened, to be honest. And getting one good Doctor and then one good assistant alongside them, and these two are really good together. That doesn't happen very often.
Also, we got to give a mention to Peter Capaldi in this episode. This was a much lighter Doctor. He was smiling. He was obviously very comfortable. He seemed to be a lot happier with the situation. It's like, wow, what happened to that grumpy guy from so long ago? All right, Susan and Alex had their hand up, so then we'll go back to you, Callan. Okay.
Yeah, so I really enjoyed the 12th Doctor's performance. I thought that he was worthy of a BAFTA as well. I thought that there was a lot of grace that he presented, and he just used all of his acting chops to make it really resound. I can't say enough positive things about Peter Capaldi, the 12th Doctor. This was a showboat for him as much as it was for Pearl Mackie, for Bill.
All right. Callan?
Yeah, but Peter Capaldi's smile, I mean, it's a good smile, but it is also very wicked looking. He'd make a good master later on in the series.
Mm-hmm. All right, Vil?
Yeah, I have to say on both performances, starting with Bill, because it's what Mackie. I'm Pearl Mackie. I'm terrible with names sometimes. She's been extremely good in her acting chops. On that side, I'd just be repeating everyone else. But one thing I wanted to point out is not her acting chops, but the fact that she really lucked out with the character that she was given, because holy hell, we finally have a cool companion, and it's not a stupid Mary Sue. It's not the wacky adventures of this character with the Doctor sidelining in the background. We have a good, strong companion on her own, yet at the same time, she's not designed to try to usurp the position of the Doctor. and it's a great mechanic. I've missed this. This is the type of mechanic we should see. I'm not saying that every companion should be identical by any means, but the mechanic between them is what we need to see more of.
All right.
Yeah, I was just going to say, towards the end of the episode where Bill sacrifices himself with the controlling monk, that reminded me a lot of season 4 in the library, where River-san plugged herself into the library to stop the Vesper Narada and save the Doctor as well at the same time. I don't know if anyone else saw that, but that's what I thought I'd just add. So,
okay, Susan and Alex.
Yeah, well, I mean, of course, the TARDIS team, I guess we want to call it. Of course, they're very good. As I said, sad to say, I mean, it was a good episode, but like I said, there was only 3 moments that I was actually surprised, so that was a little disappointing for me. But like I said, it was. It's supposed to be different. It is nice to have a companion that is not trying to tell the Doctor everything to do. It is nice to have the Doctor going back to sort of being a teacher, grandfather type, and saying, well, the other thing that I liked about the episode was not only the sarcasm that he fully displayed, but, remember, it was sort of like Sarah Jane and the 4th Doctor, where Bill says, why do you put up with us, And it was also nice, the Doctor's answer. And, of course, Mother is also the creator. So I kind of thought, that was a little nod right there. But, yeah, I think the story could have been written a little better, and I think that the resolution was too quick, but it still was a very enjoyable episode. I mean, they can't all be, super intellectual and things like that.
Okay, Philip?
I kind of like how every time we visit Nardo, he gives us clues about his body, and it's like this time he's saying, I got this arm from, God knows where he's got it from, because we're always having the illusion that the Doctor rebuilt him, but then he's telling us he got his arm from somewhere, from somewhere. So is it like Nardo goes around places picking up body parts for himself just to see how it fits him? It's kind of weird, but it's funny.
Okay, Connor?
Just to bring it back to the writing a bit, I feel like it was my favourite part of the trilogy, Extremis. I felt like it's now served little purpose to the story because the Veritas hasn't been explored further. The simulation sort of now feels slightly pointless, slightly void in a way. And I'm just feeling like if that's an open end, that's great. But I feel like at the same time, there's probably been some rejigging of the series along the way to accommodate the Monk storyline within Extremis, because that feels more like a standalone story now than a part of this big trilogy, apart from the end with the Truth Monks and the simulation. So I'm wondering now what sort of purpose that serves to the story.
Okay, to me, it was very relevant because what happened was the one thing they didn't count on in the simulation was love. That very thing you can't define, you can't simulate it, you can't put it in a computer program, and it was a complete element that they could not account for or anticipate. So that's why the simulation did have meaning. It was the one thing they would have never thought of. Okay, Texas Tim.
Well, you just explained what I was going to say. Was that not exactly, but I mean, Extremis is 100% setup for the other 2 parts, and so you're right. It may seem irrelevant now, but as far as since you don't know watching that episode what you know now, it's still a very valid episode. It's a kind of a I can't say mind F, but it's a setup for the other 2 parts. Yeah. I mean, but it's still entertaining in its own right, even though it really has little or nothing to do. Since by the end of it, it's kind of like a clean slate to move on to the other 2 parts. But it's purposed by introducing them, and it's a lot of fun to watch. So there you go. I mean, I get your point that it's not it seems irrelevant now because it really has little or nothing to do since it resets itself by the end because it's all unreal. But it's still fun to watch, is it not?
Yeah. I'll say it for you, Tim. Extremis was a mind duck. All right. There you go.
It was a fire truck. Yeah.
Yeah. Just getting back to tonight's episode. Fair play to the musical score.
It's different.
Some of this tonight, it was different, and there was some nice Nice touches in there. And a special shout out to Nathan, who forgot to change his bullets for blanks. That could have been messy, man. Yeah.
But one of the things I'd been hearing about all this week, and it was drive me nuts. It's all gonna turn out to be a simulation. They're gonna reset it, and that's one of the things I'm glad that. Sure, the ending was quick, but they didn't pull the chicken switch. They didn't whip out the big friendly button. They didn't reset everything, and I thought that was incredible.
Indeed.
Well, as we just pointed out, they already did that with Extremis, so they wouldn't dare do it again 2 episodes later. Otherwise, like Connor said, what would be the point then? The point is that was a mind duck, and this was the meat on the bones, and it was actually very good. I mean, like has been pointed out, I would say this is probably the best of the 3 in a way, even though I think its pace helps it, because it is very quick pace. A lot of people are left wanting more, but that's what you do. You leave people wanting more, not less. You know what I mean? In other words, I don't think it dragged at all. So,
okay, William.
One thing that I really liked about this episode was that it did not show the rumor about the doctor regenerate to a woman. I was like, I mean,
you're really
because the
breaking up,
one
mate.
thing that makes it great was that I'm trying to make it fast. The one thing I liked is that the episode did not show nothing that was a rumor, so that really stood out. And I liked it very much. I've had to wait to the episode's air to see it the whole thing, not listen to rumors.
That's certain internet forums for you. What can you do?
Yeah, Susan and Alex.
Yeah, I mean, I had a feeling it was going to be blanks. I had a feeling it was going to be a surprise in a way, and I like the way the doctor was kind of like, "Yeah, that's the humans I know and love." You know, I was like, I knew it was going to be blanks.
Okay, Kellen.
Yeah, I like the way she was. Belle was talking to her mother. Do you notice on there? It's a nice touch. I like that.
All right, AJ.
Yeah, the scene where they walk into the tomb with the transmitter is with the monk sitting there, and the doctor walks up behind her and he's like, "Boo!" Just right in front of it, trying to get to the attention. I'm amazed he didn't eye poke it.
But who else found it coincidental that the monks were creepy-looking, old, shriveled-up guys in robes that threw lightning? Palpatine, anyone? No.
Yeah, Palpatine.
Yeah.
I honestly did not notice that until you just said it.
Yeah, it just popped into my head. I'm like, oh, wow, check it out. They're all Palpatine.
Destiny.
Okay, be fed.
Yeah, just another thing as well. It's something else just to touch on that we've had throughout the rest of the series is how it's shot. It's been very sexually, very sexy shots, very cinematic, sweeping and everything like that. And they used a different technique tonight where people are sort of, their minds are getting confused. You're having stuff flashing up on the screen, which they tried to do in a previous episode in the last series that didn't work so well. It worked really effectively tonight. That you're trying to drive the ideas out of your mind. Well, with Sleep No More, they tried to sort of have flashing images at the screen to sort of try and disorientate you. And this was done more effectively because it's a form of mind control, brainwashing. So it is even stylistically and cinematically, they're trying to do really good stuff with the visuals. As much as the makeup, as much as the costumes have been fantastic, the way they're actually producing the episode looks fantastic. And to do that on the sort of budget they've got, I've got to take my hat off to the production crew as well.
Yeah, the budget they got and the time allotted, they did a fantastic job. Okay, Susan and Alex.
Dr. Freedom, you're alluding to Return of the Jedi, where Luke was going, "Father," but in this case, we have "Mother." Right?
Well, there you go.
Okay, Philip.
Can I just go back to Missy and the reason why she's in the vault? As we know, in future episodes, she's going to be no longer in that vault. So, isn't she supposed to be in there for over 1,000 years or 100? How many years there is? So, what necessitates her leaving the vault and traveling with the Doctor in the next couple of episodes?
Again, Paul, you're asking a question. You need to watch to find out.
Yeah, how about waiting for it to air?
I understand that, but I was just wondering
Watch it.
why he would let her out of there. And
It's parole for good behavior.
Yeah, there you go.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Somebody's reading Doctor Who magazine.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, Susan and Alex.
Yeah, I liked how you referenced Star Wars. I just like to say that pyramid taking off out of the center of London was so much like Stargate, the Hatak flying off into space. I mean, come on, that was the Goa'uld right there.
AJ.
I never.
Yeah, at the end of the episode, to me it felt like they broke the fourth wall because they're sitting there on the statue monument thing, and a woman walks past on her phone. He's like, "You, what are we sitting on?" And she's like, "I don't know. They're filming something here." And he's like, "No, you can go away. You're not needed anymore."
You know what? Now you mention that, AJ. I love that scene. You, horrible hair.
Atrocious
hair. Yeah.
You, atrocious hair girl.
And considering his hair has been such a talking point about this series as well, it's such a double-edged gag. It really is.
Okay, go away and do something. Yeah.
Plus, the look on his face and all that, it just seems like he's very, very comfortable in his own skin now, so to speak. It's, then that's what I really enjoyed was that look he gave her, that smile at the end, that, it's one of you in every 7 billion that, I'm able to put up with the rest of them. I love that answer.
That's a great answer.
Yep.
Okay. Anyone else? No other point?
I like the idea where they were walking into the pyramid and the doctor had them listening to recordings of Bill talking about how real the world is and how it should be. I thought that was brilliant and very low tech because he could have made some sort of brain jammer thing and, it didn't. He had a tape recorder.
Yeah, why were they using tape cassettes? That's what's beyond me.
I was wondering why it wasn't an iPhone or even an iPod.
Okay, Susan and Alex.
Okay, we muted. Yeah, I was wondering, sort of as a slightly sarcastic, there was no Hollywood, there was no Entertainment Tonight, no gossip shows while the monks were in power? Because they were doing all the talking, or...
No, because Hollywood...
The girl didn't remember anything, huh?
This is a simple case of Hollywood screwed up enough. They didn't need the monks controlling
Yeah,
them.
there you go, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
Dr. Commentator.
Yeah, you might remember that opening monologue where they actually do point out about, well, they have that whole thing if the monks have been with us forever, and there's the one part where the monks are behind Winston Churchill. I'm thinking, hang on, under this logic, shouldn't there have been no wars at all? Shouldn't have they not had any nations to fight with in that situation?
Yeah, just getting back to Susan and Alex's point, Hollywood don't need the monks, guys. They've got Meryl Streep. So,
Yeah, indeed.
If any of our British citizens who are watching, congratulations. And if you're thinking of voting Labour Party, you can blame them for Theresa May.
Yeah, there you go. Well, yeah. It doesn't matter who you vote for. It's the same worldwide. Who gives a shit?
Okay, so very interesting episode, very thought-provoking. Like I said, they didn't go for the easy answer. They didn't go for the chicken switch. They didn't hit the reset button, and I was very, very satisfied with that. And that's just what amazed me. It was a very well-told story. It wrapped up the trilogy very well, and we got to see different sides of the Doctor, Nardole, Bill herself, and also we got to see a whole different side of Missy that we never thought we'd ever see. So either that or she's just being two-faced as usual.
That two-faced bitch.
Two-faced, she is.
Okay, any other points before we wrap it up? Okay.
Yeah. The Doctor, he was like immaculately dressed when he was before it was revealed that he was not evil, but his coat was really threadbare. If you looked at it, it was like frayed and faded and all kinds of bollock stuff.
I think that was on purpose, though, wasn't it? Because it seems like he's worn that jacket before, either in photographs or on the show itself. But I mean, it does look kind of knackered as a coat. So.
And let's tune in next week if we find out if Bill hands in her 3,000-word essay or not.
Oh, yeah. Free will, bitch. What is it? Yeah.
After all, it's 6 months overdue. Okay, let's go ahead and wrap this sucker up, and we'll rate it, and we'll put it to bed, shall we? Unless you got, what is it, Philip?
Do you want to talk about the next time trailer, or are you going to leave that out?
We'll go into that for a minute after we rate, okay?
Okay, fine.
All right, so let's rate this one, put it to bed, then we'll have a little talk about the next time trailer. Okay, let's start towards, let's make it a totally random order. I'll start over here in the one corner. Let's start with Connor. Out of 10, how do you rate Lie of the Land?
I've got to give this a 7 out of 10, and they used the Cyberman theme in that next time trailer.
Okay, Graham?
For me, I'm going to give this a whopping 9 out of 10 for pushing the wee girl in the volcano. Yeah.
Callan?
I'll give it 8 out of 10.
All right. William?
Oh, I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10, and I can't wait to see the next week's episode.
All right. Susan and Alex?
I'll give it a 9.5 out of 10. Alex?
I'll give it a 10, but as I said, there was only 3% that surprised me, so I wasn't really shocked by very little. It was just a pleasant viewing experience, and the acting was very good. But yeah, the story, I would have liked a stronger story. It didn't seem that strong to me.
Okay, Beefhead?
It's a sexy 9 on this one. By far the strongest of the three. Yeah, Bill was great. It's all about serving chips and emptying clips. It was done nicely. I was more surprised than Alex was, but because there were certain nuanced points of it. If you're overthrowing a regime, they did it and set it up in a nice way. You can't have an insurrection and a rebellion in a 45-minute episode. It had to be done in a certain way, and it was done effectively.
Oh, darn, I almost forgot to mention it. Raise of hands. How many people thought for sure when the doctor was bringing the ship in, you should have heard the theme from the Love Boat playing?
Oh.
Okay, Texas.
I too was unsurprised because I always like Doctor Who. So I'm going to give it a 9.75. It was almost that good.
Okay, Vil?
I'm giving this one another 9. I was very pleased with it, and I'm again asking what someone else asked you before. Where was this Stephen Moffat in previous years?
He didn't write this.
I know he didn't write it, but he did direct this series. I don't mean direct as in directing. You know what I mean, as showrunner. I've been very pleased. It's an excellent episode, and I'm curious to see if they'll be able to top it.
All right, Sammy?
A 9.
All right, Bo?
Yeah, I'm giving it a 9 as well. Missy clearly has an agenda going on. I guess we'll find out what that is in the next few episodes. I hope that she goes on to Big Finish, and if she does, they should do a spin-off series on her and call it The Wild Adventures of Missy.
Yeah.
Sounds like a porno.
Maybe some of us would like it to be.
Yeah, you know how that theme music gonna sound then.
Yeah,
right?
that new tagline. Spray something nice.
I've had it. Yes, I've had adventures of my own. Okay, AJ.
Yeah, I'm going to echo Tim. 9 3/4 out of 10. It was a brilliant episode.
Doctor Commentator?
I'm giving it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Absolutely 10.
All right. Philip Archer.
I'm going to give it an 8.5 because it's a good story, an enjoyable premise. The less points is because there wasn't enough of the monks in it. But I do congratulate for the DC bit.
Hang on one second. There we
Hang
go.
on, Phil.
Re-say that last bit.
I'm going to give it 8.5 purely because there wasn't enough of the truth monks in it for me, and but the main big things of it was Missy, Pearl, and the Doctor, because their parts were really, really good. Because it was 8.5.
Yeah, I'm going to rate this one a 9.5 myself because it was a bit rushed at the end, but at the same time they didn't go back to the safety of the reset button. They followed through with the whole story. They showed us whole new sides to each of these characters. It was very well told trilogy, and I'm really looking forward to more, in the coming weeks, of Series 10.
Me
It's going to
too.
be very, very sad when, we see Peter go come Christmas. It's going to be equally sad, if Bill does depart. I'm really hoping still. I got that little inch of light in me saying, these guys are going to see just how damned awesome she is and ask her to come back. I'm really hoping. Okay, so you wanted to mention something about the Next Time trailer, Philip, before we went?
Well, I was saying that, are we going to discuss what we saw on it? What do people think of it? I do think, though, Connor said to me earlier on that he didn't like the way how the Ice Warriors use their weapon to turn you into a little ball or something. And I thought that was a bit of a weird kind of execution type thing.
To be fair, you can only go so much by wasn't
Yeah, remember that's a
trailer.
short clip, and remember their weapons might have different settings, so we have to wait to find out how it's done.
Yeah, I think you're kind of judging an episode purely by what we've just seen in the trailer at the moment. I don't think you really have to see the episode before you start making any comments.
Yeah, this isn't certain other casts that judge it by the Next Time trailer.
Yeah, no.
Certain addicts and things like that. Yeah.
Oh God!
Got their hands up.
I'm excited. I'm thrilled that they're bringing the Ice Warriors, and that there's going to be a female Ice Warrior. That's a new twist on that classic monster.
Very empowering.
Gloria would have been scared of her too. So
yeah.
Okay, Bo. Go ahead. Nick.
I'm just wondering, is Nick Briggs going to do the voice of the Ice Warriors?
I'd assume so. Yeah, because he's pretty much their go-to guy. So I'd assume he would be.
Mm-hmm.
As we all know. Yeah. Also, he's really damn good at it, because he's done it multiple times on Big Finish Audio for the Ice Warriors.
Yep.
So, also, they're bringing him in to do the Cybermen at the end of the series too. So,
it's looking interesting. It's it's redcoats versus giant crocodiles. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Let me see. Pea shooters versus armored Martian warriors with energy weapons. Yeah, that's gonna work. Okay.
The Ice Warrior Queen was channeling an inner Wizard of Oz witch sort of thing. Right.
Ooh, wicked.
Right. I laughed at that bit.
Okay, before we wrap it up and go, like I said, Big Finish Audio does a really good job, and they also covered parts of this relationship between the Doctor and the Master before. That's why I said recommended listening, and if you're a Sylvester McCoy fan, pick up a copy of a little tale called Master.
Oh, yeah.
It's brilliant.
Where he was trying to reform the Master in his own way, so to speak, and it kind of doesn't work out. And it's a very good tale, and it almost relates to this in a bit of a way because he still hasn't given up hope on his old friend. And so it kind of relates in a bit. All right. So I'm having myself and the others. Don't forget, please don't forget to join us next week as we take a look at the Empress of Maz. Almost sounds like the name of a 1950s like horror flick, doesn't it?
Rise, my pretties, rise.
Something Roger Corman would put out, like the Empress of Maz.
Enough of that, Nardole.
Yeah, put it away.
Hello, I'm actor Troy McClure. You may remember me from movies such as The Empress of Maz. Oh, yeah.
Phil Hartman, yeah.
So until then, everybody take care. Ta-ta.
Busy.
Bye.
Bye.
On Destiny.